Today's June 14th and we're going to be working with chickpeas today. These are chickpeas that I soaked a few days ago, and I'll be honest, they've been in the fridge for a few days. When I opened it, there was a bit of gas coming out, so I imagine they have fermented a little bit. But you know what, that might actually make it a little bit interesting. So let's work with these. Here I've got a bag of Koji rice, which is rice inoculated with Koji mold. And we're gonna turn these chickpeas into chickpea miso. First thing I wanna do with these is actually just pressure cook them for about 10-15 minutes. I'll go for 10 minutes. I think maybe it's even 5. I'll Google it, I'll let you know. My pressure cooker. I think I might just use the water that's already in here because this is fresh water, except the chickpeas have been in there for a few days. So I'm just gonna use that and then top it up with a little bit more. That should be enough. So I'm gonna go for pressure cook. We'll bring that down to, 1 second, let me look it up. Okay, so it turns out it's about 15 minutes. So we'll do for 15 minutes. And we'll set that going. My last episode, you know that I made a lemongrass beer thingy, and that was, at this point, that was 2 days ago. It's had 1 day on the counter at room temperature, and it's had another day in the fridge, and to be honest, it's probably good to drink now. So let's actually do that while we're waiting for the chickpeas to cook. The lemongrass beer, but actually let's go out into the garden and drink this. There is a bit of noise out here today of some people doing construction and stuff, but hopefully you can hear me fine. Let's open this up. All right, we've got carbonation. You can see that, it's gonna come up now. Woo! But let's pour that right in. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that color. It's looking a lot like ginger beer, but maybe that's just the effect of the yeast that we put in. Anyways, got good carbonation, good bubbling. Let's try it. It tastes like a lemongrass sweet tea, except it's like carbonated. I think that's a good drink right there. I'm gonna probably make this again in the future, but with maybe just pack it with lemongrass, like loads of lemongrass. I think that'd be really delicious. Overall, I'd give that about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Can probably be improved with a bit more lemongrass, maybe a bit less sugar. While we're here, let's also check on our mustard seeds. There's actually quite a lot of air coming out of this, so that means fermentation is still going strong. It's starting to smell a lot more like mustard as well. And see how it is. So the bubbles aren't as fine, but there's definitely some big bubbles coming up from the bottom there. So this was 11th of June and it is the 14th. So we'll let this go for a few more days, maybe half a day more. And then we'll turn it into mustard. This is done cooking, so let's release the pressure. A little bit of liquid spillage there. I'll just go a bit slower. I'm going to save the liquid because actually there's something else you can do with chickpea liquid that I'm going to do in this video as well. I'm going to let these cool down for a bit so that they're more manageable with hands. Right now they're like really hot. I do also quickly want to say, if anyone has anything that they would like me to try doing, or anything experimental or fun, or just any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I want to basically fill these kitchen vlogs with all sorts of stuff. So because there's a lot of downtime while I'm waiting for things to cool off, to cook, all sorts of stuff. So We can do Q&As, we can do other quick experiments, so just leave them in the comments below and I'll read them all. $652 grams of chickpeas. We're going to put in half that amount in Koji. It's not like super fine, but at least it won't be so chunky. Now we're going to mash this up. I usually use a rolling pin because I find it just works really well for just mashing. I'm going to add back a little bit of this liquid. Get all this stuff off. Dump in our Koji, and since the Koji is dry, we might add more liquid just to help rehydrate the Koji. It's also a good idea maybe to use your hands too. Just make sure they're really clean or you're wearing gloves. I'm gonna add a bit more liquid, just because this is getting a bit dry. Just wearing a glove. Just mashing everything together. I just want to get the weight of all this, so I'm gonna pour this in. Grab these, put them back in. So I have 1,135 grams of this stuff. We want a quarter of that in salt. The salt's going to help with flavor, but it's also going to create like an environment that mold and stuff doesn't like to grow in. 238 grams of salt. There you go. Now that does look like a lot of salt, but there's also a lot of chickpea in there. And don't forget, this is miso. We're not going to be eating this spoon by the spoonful. Let's put it back. Let's put it back in here. Might also add more of this liquid. Just help everything mix together and dissolve and create like a nice texture for the miso. We'll disinfect our container. I'm just going to use alcohol to disinfect this. Put the lid on, shake it up. Get the alcohol and everything. Pour it out and let it dry out. You can just wipe off a lot of the alcohol just to speed up the drying. Just gonna do it until I can't smell any alcohol vapor coming from this, which is now. First thing I do is I'm gonna put a little bit of salt at the bottom. So now we'll start filling this up and pushing as much air out as we can. We'll fill it up to about there. Top it with some more salt. Bit of cling film, a plastic wrap. We'll push that all the way down. Put the lid back on. I'm only going to put the lid half on so that gas can escape. There you go, and this will go into the fermentation corner for probably a couple months or a couple weeks. I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But next video we'll check on this again and we'll figure out exactly how long this needs to be back there. For this liquid, the chickpea liquid, I saw on Pro Home Cooks that you can make this into like a vegan mayo, so let's try that out real quick. There you go, that's chickpea mayonnaise. And you can see the kind of consistency that we're working with here. Basically like mayonnaise, and that's at room temperature, so maybe if I put this in the fridge for a bit, it'll firm up nicely. There you go, completely vegan as well. No animal products added to this. Cool. So that's really all I have time for today. I was hoping to get more chickpea stuff done, but maybe we can do some more in the future. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and also share this video, share it with all your friends. I have a lot of fun making these, and I really want to just make these, to be honest. And the more people who subscribe and watch these, the more of these I can make more often. Anyways, next episode might be in maybe 2 or 3 days. So by then we can check on a lot of things and it should be a lot more to do.